Thank you, Rabbi Kaufman. Our next speaker is a testament to Jewish perseverance and success after the Holocaust. Ellen and Michael, being children of survivors, have been more than just advocates for continued Holocaust education. Their passion for Jewish education has impacted many around. The thirst to learn about our sacred heritage continues to grow amongst our young. Rabbi Daniel Wolnerman, son of Alan and grandson of David Wolnerman, does just that. Having grown up in Des Moines and graduating Valley High School, he then went on to study and graduate from UCLA. He then went on to study in Israel, where he was ordained as rabbi. Subsequently, he returned and was appointed Hillel Rabbi, where he served at the University of Miami and University of Florida. He is currently serving as rabbi to hundreds of students in Montreal, Canada. How befitting it is this evening for us to welcome the grandson of our honoree, a Holocaust survivor whose grandson is doing everything that the Nazis wished to destroy, strengthening Jewish students' identities and, in essence, empowering Jewish pride. Please welcome our main speaker this evening, Rabbi Daniel Wolnerman.
Thank you, Rabbi, for the kind introduction. It's a pleasure to return to Des Moines, Iowa, my old stomping grounds. As I was graduating from Valley High School and applying to university, I had to fill out applications. They include the essay section, and a typical essay question that you'll get when filling out a college application is to write about a hero of yours, somebody who's inspired you, somebody who means something to you. And to me, it took about 2 seconds of thought before coming to the conclusion I have to write about my grandparents. My grandfather, David, my grandmother, Jenny, and all that they represented and all that they taught me. The title of my college entrance essay was 160344 and Me. And it was about some of the ideas and lessons and values that had been imparted to me by my grandparents. And those values include, first and foremost, a commitment to Judaism. Different people embrace Judaism in different ways. It's perfectly understandable. It's very admirable. And my grandparents insisted in a Jewish education, sending me to the Jewish schools, making sure I went to Hebrew school, and teaching me certain values, a certain consistency that one needed to have in life, putting on tefillin every day. Even if my grandfather wasn't observing the Sabbath with all the bells and whistles in terms of the complete 24-hour time period, he always held a policy of never shaving on the Sabbath. Friday, the sun goes down, which is one of the rules, it's one of the laws, and I think that's a very important value, a very important commitment. Oftentimes when we speak about resistance in the Holocaust, we speak about physical resistance, we speak about the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, and other examples of victims taking arms and fighting, physically fighting the Nazis. But there's another form of resistance which is worth mentioning, and that is spiritual resistance. That is for a person to say that my body might be imprisoned or enslaved, but my soul you can never touch, you can never reach. And I feel that both during the war itself and certainly afterwards, in terms of raising a family, building a family, and instilling values in his children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and also developing a community, those spiritual values, commitment to the Jewish people, commitment to goodness and positivity and righteousness, which my grandparents have brought to the community and brought to my life, brought to our family, is absolutely admirable. The book that's being published, A Lucky Lie, deals with the number 18, which in Jewish thought is representative of life. The two letters that form the word life in Hebrew, chai, chet, yud, add up, if you take their numeric value, to the number 18. Oftentimes when Jews are going to make a toast, make a drink, so we lift our cups and we say, what do we say? L'chaim, which translates as? Right. But when a rabbi asks such an obvious question, the answer might be a little too obvious. It does mean to life, but technically speaking, the M sound at the end of l'chaim turns it into the plural. To life in Hebrew is l'chai. Chai, 18, life. L'chaim in the plural means to lives, in a sense. Now, it can mean all of us getting together, making a toast, l'chaim, we should all be blessed. But it can also represent the fact that each and every individual has multiple aspects of their life that we're embracing, that we're toasting. Our physical side, our body, and our spiritual side, our soul. My Zaidi often says that although the Nazis imprisoned him, and they took everything from him, they took his family, they took his freedom, his liberty, that they could never take his commitment to spirituality. They could never take his soul. They could never take his spirituality. And I think that's a very important message that we keep in mind, that we remember, that we live in a complex world. Each and every one of us in this room, we're physical, we're also spiritual creatures. We tap into that spirituality differently. But to remember that the core of who we are, the essence of who we are, is to remember that we're a soul. It's absolutely imperative. And to live with that and to bring those values and those soul values into our lives, into our communities, into our families, and into our homes cannot be understated. So I want to thank everybody who made this possible. Specifically thank my grandfather, my Zaidi, David, for raising us with these values, and my grandmother, Jenny, who due to health reasons couldn't make it this evening, for their unbelievable contributions, not only to our family, but to the entire Jewish community and really the world through their values. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is David Adelman. I'm the president-elect of the Greater Des Moines Jewish Federation. Before I begin reading this letter, I would like to acknowledge two elected officials in the room, Mayor Bob Andewig, Mayor of Urbandale, and State Senator Matt McCoy. Thank you both for being here and paying tribute to this wonderful man. This letter is from a good friend of David's, Governor Terry Branstad. Dear David, I am so pleased that you are being honored by the Greater Des Moines Jewish Federation with the presentation of a new book about your experiences during the Holocaust, which will be shared with school children across the state and nation. I regret that prior commitments have kept the Lieutenant Governor Kim Reynolds and me from joining you for this important occasion, but I want to express our deepest appreciation for all you have done over many years to help the world remember the Holocaust. You have regularly attended proclamation signings and ceremonies in the governor's office and elsewhere about the need to never forget the millions who suffered and perished at the hands of the Nazis so that a tragedy like this will never happen again. Your courage is at a very young age serves as an enduring inspiration to both children and adults, and its outstanding tribute to your story will be preserved in this new book, The Lucky Lie by Sidney Pearl with illustrations by Danny Lippman. I also want you to know that our friendship with you and your wife, Jenny, and the rest of your family means a great deal to me and my wife, Chris. It has been a privilege to share the life cycle events and other wonderful occasions with all of you over the years. Your family's warmth and support, including delivering chicken soup when I was under the weather earlier this year, is truly invaluable. Thank you for your resolve to commemorate the slaughter of the European Jews and others during the Holocaust, and forever memorializing the Shoah for future generations to come. Sincerely, Terry E. Branstad, Governor of Iowa.
Mr. Wolnerman, I want to apologize for my dramatic entrance, but I've learned after a number of years when you're the fourth rabbi to speak, you better do something or they're not listening at all. So please excuse. First of all, I just want to say a couple of words about, and I know I want to echo what other people have said, about how exciting this project is, how exciting this book is. Because in a day where we've accomplished much on Holocaust education, there's still more to do, and as my colleague mentioned, how important that is. But what is also so exciting about this project as we handle that responsibility is stories. We as a community live and breathe on our stories. It's how we learn, it's how we talk about our values, and as the last holiday, as Passover just showed us, it's what makes us us. And Mr. Wolnerman, I want to say for this community, thank you so much for allowing us to learn from your story. We are both honored and blessed. And I'd also once again like to say how wonderful it is that the Jewish Federation has taken on this cutting-edge project that's going to educate people on a personal level, on a level that's deep, and how amazing this is. But I also want to mention, as I have to tell you, Mr. Wolnerman, I get to do one of my favorite things to do as a rabbi, which is to cavil about the young people of this community. I want to tell you a little bit about the two individuals, the two amazing young people who've done this book for you. Sydney Pearl, who is over to your left.
Yay, Sydney!
Sydney blushes really well. And I want to say about Sydney, so you know, Mr. Wolnerman, Sydney is a very accomplished young woman. She's so incredibly balanced. She's not only a great student, only really, really bright, but she's an athlete doing soccer, basketball. She's also a musician, a fine viola player. But even more than that, her character is something not to be missed. She is not only so bright, but she is someone who, when she smiles, everyone in the room feels happier and more comfortable. She is a star and a shining light of this community. And her bat mitzvah is only on Saturday. That's how young she is. I also want to tell you about Danny Littman, who you probably know also. Danny is a senior at Valley High School. She'll be graduating, going on to the honors program at Iowa this upcoming fall. Her passion really is physics and science, and she's going to pursue that. But boy, this is a talented young woman. She is currently working on her 8th production for Valley High School in theater. Beautiful voice, has performed all around Des Moines. But I know, knowing what I know about you, that's not all you would value. She is fiercely intelligent and fiercely dedicated to justice. This is a thoughtful young woman who is just going to be amazing to watch her leadership in the years to come. So thank you for the blessing that you've given us. I just want to say thank you to both the parents. Unfortunately, Danny couldn't be here tonight because she's proving once again the show must go on. But nevertheless, these are wonderful, wonderful people and wonderful families, and the connection is just beautiful. Thank you again.
Hi, my name is Stuart Oxer. I'm the Executive Director of the Jewish Federation. I am very fortunate to present a certificate to Sydney, if you want to come on up here. Signed by, to Sydney, O Adore Vador, that's Generation to Generation Award for helping write Our Lucky Lie, and also an autographed copy of the book. Now, as you know, Sydney's, as mentioned, as Rabbi Adelman Blank mentioned, Sydney's bat mitzvah is this weekend, and now she is going to perform her Haftorah. No, I promise. I need to get back at Sydney for all the years. Sydney's one of the 3 people in the world that has the right to call me Stewie. And so Thank you. You are amazing. I've met you when you were a little person, and you have just grown up to be amazing, and you've made us proud of this book, and you'll even make us and your family even prouder this weekend. Thank you very much. Wanted to talk a little bit about the Lucky Lie and about a very special person, Deb Bowen. I met her probably a year and a half ago at a JCRC meeting, and I'm like, wow, this is a pretty good idea. She started having books written by middle school and high school students and illustrated by them to tell the story of Holocaust survivors and liberators. And to me, it was just such an amazing way to pass it on from generation to generation and have the stories told. It's one thing for your parents to tell a story, which a lot of times the students don't listen, but to have one of their own write the story, it's just amazing. And Deb, thank you for this amazing idea that you've started. This is the 86th book in the series, and with many more to go. And I believe it will be not only used in our community or here in Des Moines, but I believe in Beverly Hills, it'll start be using in their school as part of their Holocaust curriculum. So David will be famous in Hollywood. And thank you. Another person I wanted to thank is Sheila Hudson, who is the writing coach for the students. She teaches English and history and in West Des Moines School District, and worked with the students to make this book possible. And I want to thank you both you and Deb. Why don't you stand on up and all right. Well, thank you. And Rabbi Jacobsen, I believe you're up next.
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor for me to stand here and to look at Rabbi David Wolnerman, who is not just a survivor, but a witness. And I want you all to look at David, so one day you'll tell your grandchildren, for those who deny that the Holocaust never happened, it was never remembered, it was never forgotten to be remembered, that we are witnesses because we saw the witness. I remember when Rabbi Bolel interviewed at Bethel Jacob, David, one of the questions was, what did you have when everyone was facing the angel of death? What did you have to keep you going? And like it was mentioned by everyone, he knew one day he'll be able to look back because he will have a future that will lead him where he wanted to be at that moment. So tonight, we light a candle of a different kind, not just to remember those who are not here, but to recite the Yiskadal v'Yiskada Shmei Rabbah, not to mourn through that prayer, but to become alive because of it. I sanctify God. I sanctify the fact that I carry the greatest gift of life, which is the greatest Kedusha. And yet, you see the children and the grandchildren all walking in the steps of Torah True Judaism. That's the greatest testimonial, because they realize the gift of life that their father and grandfather, and grandmother, by the way, was chosen to represent, while everyone, 6 million of our brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, children, were victims of the angel of death, the Malach HaMavos, an angel of another kind, HaMalach HaGoel Osi Mikora, the angel of redemption, was holding on to David and to his wife and many others who witnessed death in front of their eyes, but yet something bigger than life carried them. The call that God says to Abraham Avinu, Al tishlach yadcha el anar. Do not lay a hand on the child, on Yitzchak. That call was being heard and literally transformed in your existence today. At that time, God giving you the blessing of life, and we are here to celebrate, to see this witness. As a rabbi, I always look at names. David, the letter of the word David is Dalid, Vav Dalid. So we look in the Torah. What verse in the Torah starts with a Dalid and ends with a Dalid, the Dir sound? And this verse, and this is how I'm going to end, because it says it all. The name David represents the verse of the Torah in Tehillim. Dirshu Hashem Ve'uzo. One who seeks God and the strength of God, standing, finding strength in your pursuit, in finding the source of life, even in the most darkest, challenging times. Bakshu fan of Tamid. He constantly sees the challenges bringing him closer to the source of life, not, God forbid, being a victim to other than life. David, that is your verse of the Torah. Dirshu Hashem v'uzay bakshu fan of Tamid. So tonight we celebrate, not just to protect ourselves from evil, like Rabbi Kaufman mentioned, we have to be aware of those who are today standing and pursuing the threat that we heard Hitler said then. And if anything, we have to learn from the Holocaust. When someone with power says, I want to annihilate the Jewish people, you believe him. And you do everything to stop them. But also we remember. We remember by doing all the good mitzvos of the Torah that our ancestors were denied by Hitler. May his name be erased forever. We do good with our hands because we have to be the hand of those who are denied the hand to put on tefillin or to do tzedakah or to help somebody. We have to continue being the heart of the 6 million and the mind. Because if they were here today or they had a chance to live another hour, what would they do? How would they live their lives? So tonight, we celebrate life in a very real way. We lost 6 million, but in a very real way, we were born with many, many other millions of our brothers and sisters all over the world. We were born with the state of Israel once again returning to the Jewish people forever. Am Yisrael Chai. Let us hope, Oseh Shalom Bimromov, as God Almighty causes harmony between the angels of fire and water, Malach Gabriel and Michael, as he causes harmony in his highest heights. May we see through all the strange fires and all the negative and those who pursue death, may we see those who pursue life. May we see and witness the day of all days when we will see all our loved ones come back in the soul and body. Let us hope we live to see this time and witness not just the deaths of the 6 million, but witness Tchiyat HaMesim, the resurrection of all our loved ones in the soul and body again. V'noimar, Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've been honored tonight to hear from an array of speakers and guests. We thank everyone who's contributed to this program tonight once again, and I echo Rabbi Adelman Blank's thank you to the Jewish Federation for giving us the opportunity and being able to house us this evening. This concludes our program tonight, and everyone can make their way to the Staros Elsie Clubhouse and the Bookie Lodge. And there are washing basins for those who would like to wash, and there will be hamotzi. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. And once again, we would like to, if we could all stand, really, to honor David and for everything.